expand its workforce capacity. Now, based on extensive studies that we have done, interviewing tens of thousands of people globally across the world, across different organizations, across different sectors, one thing is clear. Leaders are saying that within the next 12 to 18 months, we will see an adoption of human-led, agent-operated models. Now, when we look at this from a healthcare perspective, transportation, all of these industries, and you look at these transformations, AI is at the heart of it. Now, let's take healthcare, for example. We all know how important it is for early detection of an illness in order to successfully treat that illness. AI is already doing that. And with the help of AI, education is actually becoming more equitable. We now have transportation in various parts of the world that are powered by autonomous vehicles. If we look at climate change, for example, we can also utilize AI to help us predict, for example, deforestation and natural disasters, like floods. We've had our fair share of floods in South Africa and droughts and so forth. Now imagine utilizing AI to know exactly when and where and to what extent or impact that flood will have. That enables us to empower our citizens to make our citizens' lives better and also to save lives. But the AI potential is not only limited to those industries. It is also showing or transforming the way cybersecurity is done today. If we look at, for example, what AI is doing, it's helping us detect attacks faster. You are also getting a level 1 analyst with the help of AI to perform level 3 analyst tasks instantaneously. So we are upskilling the workforce in an instant with the help of AI. Now, as organizations race to adopt AI, one truth becomes increasingly clear. Without security, there is no trust. And without trust, we cannot fully embrace the power and potential of AI. AI is only as powerful as it is trusted. Whether it is a citizen interacting with a chatbot or a security analyst using Copilot, AI or trust is the invisible thread that connects all these AI interactions together. Now, trust is built on a foundation of security. The threat landscape is evolving rapidly. I think we've heard a lot of speakers talk about the threat landscape and all of the things we are seeing. Now, one thing I can tell you, as I said earlier, we are seeing attackers use AI to launch attacks at speed, at scale, and with sophistication that we have never seen before. If we look at the Microsoft Digital Defense Report, it takes an attacker, on average, 72 minutes to access personal and sensitive information after a phishing attack has been effected. Now, when I started my career, I'm not going to say when, but when I started my career, we were talking about years and months. This has now gone down effectively to minutes, and this is in 2022. I can guarantee you now in 2025, it is a lot faster. If we look at blocked password attacks per second, it grew from 4,000 to over 7,000 in 2024. So to put that in context, the amount of time that it took me to speak here, we saw in excess of 3 million blocked password attacks, just in the time that I was speaking. Threat actors, or the number of threat actors, and the sophistication of these attacks are also increasing every year. Speed, scale, and sophistication is the new normal. As if those figures weren't enough and daunting enough, organizations are overwhelmed with complexity. On average, we're seeing an organization having in excess of 40 tools, security tools, to make sense of their threat landscape. Can you imagine being a SOC analyst and trying to look across 40 tools to try and make sense of what is going on? The challenge with this is, if these tools are disconnected and they're not talking to each other, it creates gaps in the environment and increases the complexity. And one thing we do know is that with increased complexity, you're reducing your security posture. So you create gaps in your environment. What makes it even worse is we are seeing, we are seeing a need for an additional 4.8 million cybersecurity professionals to effectively secure organizations today. And with the widespread data breaches, this highlights an urgency for consolidation and smarter security strategies. Now, AI is not just an opportunity. It actually is also a new attack surface. So whether it's from Gen AI prompts, orchestration, plugins, and our traditional threat vectors, these are all ways that are expanding to allow the number of ways attackers can get into our environment. So we must evolve our security approach to address both legacy and AI-driven threats. At the end of the day, security must come above all else. Every innovation, every technology must be built on a secure foundation, and that is non-negotiable. At Microsoft, security is our #1 priority. We are committed to protecting tenants, protecting identities, networks, engineering systems, and the like. And if you look at our Secure Future initiative, which was launched in November 2023, it is grounded in 3 principles. Secure by design. So security comes first in the design process and is baked in. Secure by default. So security controls are enabled by default with no extra effort needed. So stuff like MFA, for example, or multi-factor authentication on administrative accounts or admin accounts is enabled by default. And a tip for everyone in the audience, if you enable multi-factor authentication and use it, it will increase your security posture by leaps and bounds. Now, we also have secure operations, so where we continuously monitor and adapt to current and emerging threats. Based on our SFI, we have already started seeing measurable results within Microsoft and our customers. And if you look at it from a culture and a governance perspective, every single employee in Microsoft now has security as a core priority in their KPIs. Now, this is what it looks like when security above all else is adopted and scaled across an organization the size of Microsoft. Ultimately, we deliver an AI-first, end-to-end security platform. Now, every single word in that sentence matters. AI-first, end-to-end security platform. Now, this really all comes to life through the product portfolio. So we have Microsoft Defender for threat protection. We have Purview for data security. So ensuring that data is not stolen or leaked. And with our citizens' data, this is more important than ever in the age of AI. We have Intune to ensure that we have device management and enforce the safest configurations on all devices. We have Microsoft Entra to ensure secure access, so that we can ensure that every person and every agent has access to only the resources that they need to do their job. And then we have Sentinel as the platform that brings it all together, that connects the dots, so that every security decision and every incident investigation comes with full context. Additionally, we have Microsoft Security Copilot that is infused in all of these products. So this allows defenders to move faster, to respond smarter, and to stay ahead of threats with little or less manual effort. It's not just about the tech. We also analyze 84 trillion signals on a daily basis that feeds our threat intelligence. And this is backed by professional and managed support. Our unique advantage gives our customers the edge. What we have done is simplified 50 market-leading security categories into a single platform. Also, the diversity and sheer volume of the threat data that we receive, as I said, 84 trillion signals coming from organizations of all sizes, industries across the board, and all over the world. So we are able to see things before they actually happen in another part of the world. And then on top of that, we have invested $80 billion in AI for fiscal year 2025 alone. Now, all of this gives us unmatched security capability, and this helps our customers stay ahead of emerging threats. By consolidating vendors and leveraging AI-driven security, this helps organizations lower cost and improve and increase compliance and security. Now, this isn't just me saying this. We have analysts like Forrester that have conducted research that shows that organizations that follow this type of approach reduce costs in the tune of 20% and more. Also, a 70% less likelihood of a breach. Now, to wrap things up, any successful AI transformation must start with security. Security is not a barrier. It is not a blocker. Security is an enabler for digital transformation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. And while you're speaking, I was actually putting AI to the test, and I asked them, who is Mark Palmer? Do you want to know what the results are? So it says Mark Palmer is mentioned in the context of Microsoft, specifically in relation to creating a bicep resource and parameter files for deploying Microsoft Sentinel. I have no idea what that means, but that's what it says.
I'm not sure where you got
That's
that from.
AI.
You see, that's the problem with AI sometimes. We always have to validate what AI gives us.
Yeah.
And there's always this concern that AI is going to replace humans. And we've just proven that if we just take AI on its word, we will have a challenge. Because I actually have no idea what it just said.
I read this 5 times, and I was trying to figure out what does bicep resource and parameter files of Microsoft Sentinel actually mean.
It might actually go back to the days when I was actually bodybuilding, and my biceps were a bit bigger.
I see. Let's give Mark another round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to quickly call our panelists to come to the front, and please come forward. We just want to get you mic'd. Tabang Pala, Sudipto Moitra. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, I do apologize. Mr. Mpahlela Taba, as well as Tabani Joyisa and Lucanyo Zahela. Our team is just there to mic you if you haven't. But in the meantime, I'd like to welcome now Boni Mapipa, who is going to be showing us a video from Microsoft about evolving government websites with Microsoft AI. Bonnie, please can you come forward and please validate AI for us, because now we've heard from Mark that we still need humans to verify AI, and I feel so useful right now. Can you give her a round of applause? Thank you.
What they've been diagnosed with, what medication are they taking, all that type of information. So we can't get it wrong, not even once. It's very, very important that we have robust controls in place to make sure that we don't just do it for compliance, but we make sure that we give what our customers are demanding, which is total protection. In our space, we need to ensure that obviously we implement things like privacy by design so that we don't overlay privacy at a later stage or security at a later stage. It must be secured by design. So all those type of things needs to be in place to ensure that it's almost difficult. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult for us to get it wrong. And to respond to your question around the
Trust and transparency.
The trust and transparency. Yeah. So what we do at Discover is that I think we're one of the organizations that receives a lot of media backlash. If you go into LinkedIn and other social platforms, you'll see people complaining about whatever that they're not happy with. And we are responding to those things. We're explaining, we are taking people through why we couldn't, pay a particular claim or portion of the claim. And we will also tell a story of how we've spent more than 70 million rand in saving a life of one individual, because this is insurance. On average, we'll spend about 10 million rand on saving someone from cancer, if they are on chemo for 6 months or something like that, when they're on the ventilation for 6 months. So these are some of the stories and the things that we share to explain to people that, as an organization, we are a caring organization, we have done the basics to make sure that we protect your data, but if it happens that we don't get it right, we explain what went wrong and what actions are taken to fix that, because we're not going anywhere. We will be here even beyond NHI, because we believe that we'll be key partners in NHI, because we have experience in running a working medical aid.
Tabani, are you transparent?
I am transparent.
Have you had a data breach?
We've had.
Thank you so much.
I'll
let me let you think about that thought. Let's wrap it up in this way. I want us to then look into the next 5 years. And I know that the KZN government has had a digital transformation strategy, that ends this year. My chief information officer will advise. And I think they need to then build on the next 5 years in terms of digital transformation, which now cybersecurity forms part of that strategy. As this difference as well, what are the top 3 things that you think that South African government, from a provincial to the national point of view, need to be focusing much on from a policy point of view? Because you mentioned things about policy change and also frameworks that need to be built as well. Yeah, over to you guys.
Yeah, I think the 3 things that I believe that there is an opportunity that can be worked on both in collaboration with private and public sector is, number 1, in regards to the policy making. Let's not see. I think one of the panelists mentioned it's not like a tick box. It has to be more, and it's not a copy paste of what the rest of the world is doing. We have our unique requirements. We have that. So right from the formulation of the policy, and they should not be a separate element. It should be embedded in that digital strategy. You know, yes, there will be a lot of controls that will be cutting across, but everything that we do, how do we look at embedded? So that's sort of a policy making, but more importantly in that policy making, the whole framework of how we execute and the controls, the measure, etc. And that should also allow the transparency that you mentioned about, because collectively, when we as South Africa gets hit, how we can share a little bit more. That's the first one. The second one, I think, we also have a potential in the next 5 years to look in, you know, we have spoken a lot about the skills, and how do we collectively create the skills? How do we create that employment that then helps us, not only for our own demand, but the demand of the world? And then the third thing, I think it's about making sure the awareness of the cyber within organizations, across organizations, and also as individuals, as citizens, as employees in each of the business, especially because the third-party threats that are coming in is huge. So if we are all collaborating that in the next 5 years, I think the digital enablement can be achieved a lot better.
Thank you so much for the lecture. You give lectures, not
you.
points. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, Bab Thaba.
I think first, it's important that we integrate cyber within our everyday life, including in our operations. It should not be something that we see as separate, that is responsible, that is exclusive for ICT security.
Sure.
We must integrate it. It's very important. And I think we must move towards sovereignty. Even the areas where we are using foreign technologies, I think we must identify as a country which are the areas, critical areas that we would like to own. And I think data sovereignty is very critical for the country because service provision by provinces like KwaZulu-Natal is very dependent on how much of the data do they have to be able to provide the service. While we leverage, and we must leverage technology, but we must leverage technology with very serious caution on understanding that the technology must speak to our problems, our local problems. Thank you.
Definitely. Tabani?
Thank you. I think my first point would be a call for industry benchmark and also benchmarking with world-class stakeholders in government in other parts of the world. I do believe that there's nothing new under the sun. Someone has done it. It's your job to find that person and understand how they've executed and do it. And then the second part is you need skilled and talented individuals to basically implement that. So you also need to attract and retain talent. I've met colleagues that are in cybersecurity working for government in Johannesburg, and they told me that the city doesn't pay for their certifications if they want to write CISP or CISM or things like that. They don't pay for their yearly maintenance of certificates. And we are competing with banks and other big corporations that do pay for those things. So you're going to get people that don't have those certifications